Hello students, good morning everybody, welcome back to the class, and we are going, this is civics second year, we are going to the first chapter, okay, and in that we will study about the salient features of Indian Constitution. So students, this is quite a new topic for you, okay, already we have discussed in the civics first year. So in this topic we will discuss about the salient features of Indian Constitution. What are the important features of Indian Constitution? So in this topic what we will discuss, what are the main features of Indian Constitutions we will discuss briefly. Okay. So before going to the salient features of Indian Constitutions, we will discuss about the Constitution, how the Constitution was formed, okay, what are the main aims of the Constitution, what are the rules and regulations of the Constitution, we will discuss. So when we are going about the salient features of Indian Constitution, first one, what is Indian Constitution? Indian Constitution is nothing but the set of rules and regulations for the country, that is Indian Constitution. So this Indian Constitution, which was actually formed in Constitutional Assembly. So this Constitution Assembly was created in 1946. So the Constitution Assembly was created in 1946. In this Constitution Assembly, the Constitution was created. First, intellectual persons were appointed, intellectual persons were elected, and these intellectual persons were appointed for the Constitution Assembly to prepare the Constitution, and then the Constitution preparation was started. So this Constitution was prepared in an assembly which is called Constitution Assembly, and they have many features. So in this we will discuss about what are the salient features of Indian Constitution. So Constitution is a set of rules and regulations. Okay, without having the rules and regulations, the country cannot run properly. So for every country, Constitution is very, very important. Even for the country like India also, Constitution is important, and this Constitution was started preparing in an assembly, Constitution Assembly. Okay. Now to prepare the Constitution, it have taken. Now who are the important persons? And when the Constitution Assembly was formed in 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of this assembly. So they have appointed Dr. Rajendra Prasad as the chairman of the Constitution Assembly. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad was act as the chairman, and he act as the chairman for the Constitution Assembly, and the Constitution preparation was started in that assembly. And to prepare that Constitution, it have taken nearly 2 years, 11 months, 18 days to prepare the Constitution. Okay. At last the preparation of Constitution was completed after completing 2 years, 11 months and 18 days to prepare the Constitution. Okay. So to complete the Constitution, it was started in 1946, and after 1946 the Constitution preparation was ended in 26th November 1949. The Constitution was adopted. So this is the year in which the Constitution was adopted. The Constitution was adopted in the year 26th November 1949, but 26th January the Constitution came into force in 1950. 26th January 1950 the Constitution came into force, and that's why 26th January 1950 we will celebrate Republic Day, because during that time the Constitution was came into force. So to prepare a Constitution, it have taken nearly 2 years, 11 months, 18 days, and many important peoples played a very important role to prepare the Constitution. Now here the Indian Constitution was framed for 2 years, 11 months, 18 days, and Dr. Rajendra Prasad was chairman selected as a member of Constitution Assembly. The Constitution, anyhow I have written, the Constitution was adopted in 26 November 1949, but the Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. Okay. It have taken after 2 months, the Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. Now in this topic we will discuss about the important features of Indian Constitution. So first one, we already know that the Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. During that day we will celebrate as a Republic Day, because during that time we got full independence. Because one thing, the Constitution came into force and that's why we will celebrate Republic Day. Now, when we are talking about the salient features of Indian constitutions, when we are talking, first this is very important to know what is meant by preamble. Preamble of constitution is nothing but introduction of constitution. So, whenever if you are opening the books of constitution, when the constitution was prepared, when you open the book, in the first part we will find index of the constitution. Index are nothing but content of the constitution, that is only the preamble of constitution. Preamble of constitution is nothing but the content and the index of the constitution, which is called as preamble of constitution. Okay, and this preamble of Indian constitution is considered as a life and the soul of constitution. Okay, so this preamble is a life as well as soul. Why? Because without index we can't able to find the content easily. Index is very important for every content. Open any books, we can find index, we can find content. So without having index and content, we can't able to find anything. So due to which the preamble is called as life and the soul of constitution. In that preamble of constitution, what is the importance of preamble of constitution is, in that aims and objective of the constitution will be mentioned in the preamble of constitution. So preamble of constitution, in the preamble of constitution we can find that is an index of the constitution, and this contains the content of the constitution. In that, what are the aims and the object of constitutions will be mentioned in the preamble of constitution. Okay. Next, preamble of constitution based upon some following 4 pillars. In the preamble of constitution, when you are seeing the index of the constitution is called as preamble of constitution. The content of the constitution is the preamble of constitution, and these are very important. It contains how many pillars? 4 pillars we can find. First one is called as liberty, second one equality, third one fraternity, and fourth one justice. So normally when we are learning about the salient features of constitution, the first salient feature of constitution is preamble. Okay, in that preamble, preamble is nothing but index and the content of constitution, which will mention the specifically the aims and the objects of the constitution. What is the aim and what are the objects of the constitution will be mentioned. In that we can find preamble of constitution is mainly based on 4 pillars. One is called liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice. So which is very important to know what is meant by liberty, freedom. According to the preamble of constitution, all the people who are living in the country are free. Okay, they have liberty. Okay, this already we have discussed. Already this liberty concept it is there in civics first class. Okay, the word liberty is originated from the Latin word liber, which means to set free. Whenever the freedom given to the people is very important. Okay, according to the constitution, this is one of the pillars. Our Indian constitution is actually laying on 4 pillars. First pillar, liberty, equality, fraternity, and justice. Okay, these are the pillars of Indian preamble of Indian constitution. So first concept when we are talking, first concept is called as liberty. So this concept means whenever the people are free, okay, that is called as liberty. Freedom when it is given to the people, that is called as liberty. Second one, equality. In our country, this is one of the second important pillars of Indian constitution. This is the second pillar of preamble of Indian constitution. So in our country we can find all the people are equality. Equalities are again classified into 3 types. Social equality, okay, social equality, economic equality, and one is called as political equality. So equality is again it is subdivided into mainly 3 types. So according to the constitution, people who are living in the society, all the people are equal. So normally in the society, when all the people are considered as equal, that is social equality. Second thing, economically, rich and poor. So normally have and have not. Okay, economic equality is also one of the aim of Indian constitution. Okay, this is also one of the pillar. To achieve the equality, we have to achieve 3 important equality: social equality, political equality, economic equality. In terms of politics, all the people are equal. How can you say? people who completed 18 years of age have right to vote. So this equality was achieved. Okay, this equality was achieved by the constitution, but these two equalities we have to achieve the complete equalities in the society. Okay, this is one of the second pillar of preamble of Indian constitution. So social equalities are again subdivided into three types: social equality, economic equality, political equality. Social equalities are nothing but in the society when all the people are equal, then that is a social equality. Okay, in all the society when all the people are considered equal, that is social equality. Second thing, economic equalities are nothing but in the society when there is no differences between have and have not, then that type of society can be said as economic equality is achieved. And next one is political equality. So this is also one of important pillar. So our country aims to achieve complete equality. So this is also one of the aim and the object of Indian constitution. Okay, equality. So this is also one of the pillar of preamble. Okay, next come to the point, fraternity. Fraternity is a concept whenever if you are developing friendly and brotherhood relations among all the people, so that concept is called as fraternity. If you wanted your country to develop, these four pillars are very important. First one is independent, liberty. Second one is equality. Third one, fraternity. Fraternity in the sense friendly and brotherhood relations among all the people, that is called as fraternity. In our country, if you see, fraternity we can find in our country because people in all the countries have developed friendly and brotherhood relation and justice. So justice were given all the people equally. So these are the justice are nothing but whenever if you are giving justice. Okay, whenever if you are doing justice with all the citizens, all the people are equal in front of law. Okay, and whenever justice will be given to all the citizens equally. So this all four pillars comes under the preamble of Indian constitution. Okay, so here in the preamble of Indian constitution we have studied about, first thing is this is the index of the constitution, this is the life and the soul of the constitution. Without preamble of Indian constitution there will be no object of any constitution. What is the object of the constitutions can be known only by the preamble of Indian constitution, and that's why preamble of Indian constitution is the life and the soul of constitution. Next one we have discussed about what are the aims and objective of preamble of Indian constitution. Then we have discussed that preamble of Indian constitutions are mainly based upon four pillars. Liberty, which means to provide independence to all the people, is called liberty. Equality, when all the people are equal, then that is equality. To achieve the complete equality, again the equalities are subdivided into social, economic and political equality. In society when all the people are equal, that is social equality. In economic, when all the people are equal in terms of have and have not, in terms of rich and poor, that is economic equality and political equality. Overall we have achieved one equality, and that is political equality. Political equality in the sense all the people who complete 18 years of age have right to vote. Okay, everybody have right to participate in government. Fraternity we have discussed, whenever the people have friendly and brotherhood relations among themselves, that is called as fraternity. And justice. Okay. Next come to the point, second important preamble, and preamble of Indian constitutions have declared, what they have declared? Preamble of Indian constitution have declared that India is a sovereign state. Okay, in the preamble of Indian constitution have declared that India is a sovereign state. So in India we can find, how can you say sovereignty is? What is meant by sovereignty? The country which can take its own decisions at internal and external level, that country can be called as sovereign country. India, our Indian government is taking the decisions internally and externally, so that's why we can say that India is a sovereign state. Second one, socialist. How can you say that India is a socialist? Socialist is nothing but any country, whenever the government is reducing a gap among the rich and poor people, that country can be called as socialist country. Example, India. So socialist country, in any country, either if you see Russia, either if you see China, in these countries are socialist countries. Particularly why? Because in these countries if you see, they will reduce a gap between the rich and poor people. So that country can be called as socialist country. So example we can find India is the best example of socialist country. Okay. Next one we can find, this is also one of the important concept of preamble, which is called as secular. What is meant by secular? Secularity is nothing but in any country, okay, in any country when all the religions are treated equally. So in any country when all the religions are treated equally, that country can be called as secular country. India is a secular country because in India, we know that in India, India is a home of different religion. In India we have, India is a birthplace of different type of religion. Hinduism we can find, India is a birthplace of Buddhism, India is a birthplace of Sikhism, India is a birthplace of Jainism. So we have different religions we have in our country. So secular country is nothing but in any country when the government treats all the people equally. Whenever the state government treats all the people equally, okay, when all the people are equal in front of government, that state is called as secular state. Okay, so the states have never given preference to any particular religion. Whenever the state government have not given preference to any particular religion, then that state can be called as secular state. For example, India. In India, we can find all the religions are treated equally in front of government, in front of law. So India is a secular state. Secular states will never give preference to any particular religion. Okay, so that is called as secularism. Secularism means the country which treats all the religion equally, the country which never give any preference to any particular religion, that country can be called as secular country. For example, if you see, India is the best example of secularism. So according to the preamble of Indian Constitution, we have discussed India is a sovereign state, India is a socialist state, because in our country the government reduces a gap through policies. By implementing policies, government will reduces a gap among rich and poor people. And then we have discussed about secular. In India we can find secularism is there because in our country the government treats all the religions equally. So whenever the government considered and when the government treats all the religions equally, that state can be called as secular state. And democratic. Already we know that India is a democratic country. How can you say that in India is a democratic country? Democratic is nothing but whenever the power vested in the hand of people. Demo means people and cracy means power. So the word democracy is originated from the Greek word democratic. In the sense, the word democratic is originated from the Greek word. Demo means people and cracy means power. So whenever the power vested in the hand of people, that country can be called as democratic country. For example, India is the best example of democratic country. Next one, republic. Okay, already we have discussed what is meant by republic. Before discussing, I have mentioned that, okay, what I have mentioned. So in introduction we have discussed about Indian Constitution. Constitution is very important. Our Constitution was adopted in the year 26 November 1949. The Constitution was adopted, but the Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. Okay, the Constitution has implemented and which was given to the people. So republic is nothing but the country which have their own constitution and the country which have where the heads are elected by the people either directly or indirectly. In any country, either if you see who is the head of the country, either president and prime minister who are elected by the people either directly or indirectly, that country can be called as republic country. For example, India is the best example of republic. So according to the preamble of Indian Constitution, they declared India as a sovereignty state, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. Now this is the first aim of preamble of Indian Constitution. So what we have discussed in preamble, this is nothing but the life and the soul of Indian Constitution. Preamble of Indian Constitutions are mainly based on 4 pillars: liberty, equality, fraternity, justice. And preamble of Indian Constitution have declared India is a sovereign state because socialist state, secular, democratic and republic we have discussed. Okay. Now India is the lengthiest written constitution in the world. Among all the constitutions we can find, we see many constitutions in the world, but Indian Constitution is very lengthiest written constitution. Why? Because constitutions mainly consists of articles and schedules. Most of the constitutions are consists of articles and schedules. Articles are nothing but rules and regulations which are implemented. Schedules are nothing but the policies. Okay, whatever the policies which are implemented in the constitution, that is schedules. So our constitution is a very lengthiest constitution because if you see, we have nearly 448 articles and we have nearly 12 schedules. Okay, apart from this we have 5 appendices and 98 amendments. Now this is very very important to know. Amendments are nothing but changes. Whenever if you are making any changes in the constitution, that is called as amendment. Whenever there is a changes in the constitution, then we can call it as amendment. For example, in India, okay, out 98 amendments were done. Out of 120 amendments, 98 changes have taken place. So overall it is very close to 100. So 100 times we have changes our constitution. So whenever if you are changing, see, the rules and regulations were created by the parliament, and if you wanted to change the rules and regulations, that is called amending the constitution. Amending is nothing but changing the constitution. So whenever if you are changing the constitution, that is called as amending the constitution. So so far how many times the constitution was amended is 98 times the constitution was amended. So approximately 100 times we can find the constitution was amended so far. Okay, so far the constitution, how many times it was amended? 100 times the constitution was amended. So 100 times the constitution got changes. So this is one part. Okay, and next topic we are going to study about the preamble of salient features of Indian constitution. This is called fundamental rights. So okay, the third important point is about fundamental rights, the rights which are given to the citizens. So these rights are called as fundamental rights. These are the basic rights which are given to the citizen. Fundamental rights are nothing but what? Basic rights. Okay, these rights are very important to develop human beings. Most of the rights are very important. Rights why we are giving to the citizens, so that they can able to develop and they can able to lead a very good life. And for development and for leading a good life, rights are important, and that's why our constitution has given fundamental rights to the citizens. Okay, fundamental rights are nothing but basic rights which are mainly given to the citizen of the country. So these rights which are given by the constitution to the citizen of the country, that rights are called as fundamental rights, children. So we have discussed here about 2 points. Okay, so we will meet you in the next class. In the next class we will discuss about what are the various aspects of fundamental rights, what are fundamental rights, and how many rights the fundamental rights divided, what are the various other fundamental rights, we will discuss in the next topic. So thank you very much. We will meet you in the next class, students.